Oh, I see also Ayush here. So should I let him in? He's also in the event?
Yeah, please.
Okay. Okay, hi everybody. Welcome to another DevFest event. Today we're going to hear from Ishita and from Diwang about how to send email with agents. It's going to be like a very cool event. Um, so before we start the giveaway, maybe you learn a little bit about Julep and about their hackathon, the prizes that they offer, their swag, how to compete, and so on. So feel free to start and let them know, so they will be more intrigued to be in the event.
Ishita, do you want to start or should I start?
You can start.
Okay. Hey guys, welcome. It's so nice to meet you all, and I'm really excited to show you what Julep is and what you can do with Julep. So, without further ado, I think everyone here is, I'm assuming, already pretty well versed with what agents are and what you like. Hopefully, in the future, what you can build with agentic systems. But regardless, quick recap: agents are essentially this new kind of software applications that you can build, um, where the system can you can use language models and other foundation models to essentially understand what's happening in the real world, and then based on that, take some actions. So imagine if you're like a camera at a stoplight and someone just went over or someone just fell down. Before this, I mean, if you had a speed camera or whatever, you could spend a lot of time and money to design something that measures the speed and so on and so forth. But now you can actually feed the camera stream into a vision model and literally ask questions like, hey, is someone in trouble, and automatically call the police or something like that. So at Julep, what we are trying to do is allow like really complex agents to be built by using something called that we are calling tasks. So a task in Julep is essentially a multi-step workflow that you can define, and it runs entirely on Julep servers. So one really cool thing about Julep is that you actually, once you define a task and once you define an agent and you run it, it runs on Julep servers. So, okay, let me share my screen and I will show you guys first.
Maybe before you start, you or Ishita, maybe you can go ahead
Yep,
just to explain quickly about Hacktoberfest, like your contribution, your swag, and what people need to do and
yep,
what you give and everything.
yep. Um, Ishita, do you want to take that?
Hey everyone. Yeah, we're really excited for all of you to try out Julep and contribute to Julep. So on our repo we have a section. I'll just share the link here, which is called Call for Contributors. There are lots of options to sort of create demos out of the Julep platform. Please, look at all the list. We've added about 80 use cases. Respond to all those issues and tell us which demo you want to create, and we'd assign that ticket to you. We have a lot of swag for you guys for the demos. So there's a lot of swag. I'll add details for that soon as well on the repo. But yeah, uh, here is the link to the GitHub. And I think you guys already have the link to the GitHub. but and I'm sure Neva would add it. Yeah. So you see, if you scroll down in the README at the top, there is a section called call for contributors. Just check out the room, please, and then you'd see a lot of open issues and options to create lots of demos. Just want to note here that you guys can do this in JavaScript and both in Python and JavaScript. So yeah, that's all.
All right. Thank you, Ishita.
Just before they start, please make sure you start the Julep repository. I already put it on YouTube, so go ahead and start it, because you won't get swag and anything if you don't start it. So go ahead, do it right now, and send it all to all your friends and also start it. So anybody that you know, you can now register for the giveaway by the end of the event. So this is the link to the giveaway. Feel free to go there, put your GitHub handle. So by the end of the competition, we are going to have a giveaway, and you can get some awesome swag. I'll not take any more time. Go ahead, Diwang, start and show them what you can do with agents. I'm really excited to see that.
Yeah. So first of all, thank you guys for starting the repo, and I don't just mean this out of this event's sake, but I hope you really like what we're doing and share it with other folks and other developers. We would love to hear from you, and thank you so much, Nevo. So yeah, let's get started. So let me share my screen. All right. So this is Julep's repository, which I'm hoping you guys have seen so already. Uh, to start off with, we are an API for building multi-step agent workflows. In Julep, you can define complicated tasks that agents can do, which is like a step-by-step definition. So it could be, hey, I need you to Google a recipe. Then, based on the recipe, I want you to automatically create prompts for generating images for each section, and then combine those images into a single kind of document along with the recipe, and then send it to an email or something like that. So these kind of workflows, and I expect, and recently someone from Y Combinator was actually talking about, like, right now we have agents and systems that do things across 1 to maybe 5 steps. It would start to become increasingly uh, interesting and powerful when we have an agent that can do like 100 steps or 1,000 steps, and that is exactly what Julep is for. And to my knowledge, there's in order to build those kind of things, there's really nothing else out there. But yeah, so as Ishita mentioned, this is the contributors section. Please go ahead and look at it. And also, please join our Discord channel and feel free to ask any questions. I'm going to dive right into an example to give you a sense of what Julep workflows look like. So, for example, this is a research agent task. So here it has two tools. Brave, which is Brave Search, is a web search engine API, and a Discord webhook, which is an API call. Now, both of these are actually built into Julep. So when you use either of those, so if you use Brave Search, for example, and you provide your API key, when whenever the model decides to call this tool, or if you call this tool manually, this will actually be run on the server, and the results will on the Julep server, and the results will automatically be sent back to the model. So in your logic, you really do not have to do anything. The Julep backend will be managing it. Similarly, Discord webhook is actually a simple API call, and it could be any other URL. So you can any integration that is not currently built in, and we're very rapidly expanding the integrations that we have. You can actually use yeah, you can actually use the this step for calling any arbitrary API. Um, and finally, and I'm gonna kind of run through this and then maybe field questions. Nave, a quick question: are we gonna do questions in the middle, or do we want to do questions at the end?
This is totally up to you. So
Okay,
anything you
okay, okay. All right. So got it. Okay, I'm gonna
That's
run through
one
this,
thing.
and then I'm gonna
Sorry.
field
Let me
questions.
stop you one last thing. There is a slight delay between the video and the questions. So if you ask any question or something, you would need to wait something like 30, 40 seconds before it happens. So ask a question before and then continue to do some stuff. And then you will see later all the, like what.
You mean the screen share?
Yeah.
Got it. Got it. Okay. Okay. So I'm gonna run through this workflow. So in this case, what we want to do is, let's imagine a research AI agent that takes a topic, comes up with 100 search queries for that topic. It could be, let's say, the topic could be television shows, and the 100 search queries could be what are trending television shows right now, what are popular television channels, uh, what kind of audience is currently viewing different kinds of shows, etc., etc. So the model comes up with all of these search queries. Then you perform all of those web searches in parallel, collect all of the results and compile them, and then come up with 5 follow-up questions based on the results, because maybe there was something that was missed out in that research. Then repeat that process, meaning search them in parallel, and then come back and finally send the summary to Discord. Okay, so in Julep, and this is, I mean, it's quite amazing that you can do this in just this whole example is under 80 lines of code, and it's all YAML, so very very straightforward. So okay, so now we want to do first a prompt. You're a research assistant. Generate 100 search queries related to this topic. Write one query per line. Evaluate the search queries using a simple Python expression. So this is a simple Python expressions that will actually run on the results. In this case, just a quick note: underscore is a special variable that points to the output of the last step. Okay, so now we ran a prompt, one query per line, and now we have 100 search queries. Um, so now let's manually call the web search tool. So if we have these 100 search queries, there's something called map. Map actually allows you to do things in parallel. So we also have a for each, but map is a lot more powerful because it would actually let you run um, 100, like any amount of parallelism. So in this case, we're gonna actually search over all of those queries. Once we've done that, we're going to collect them. So the result of a map is a list of items. So we're going to say, okay, let's collect all of the results for all of the web search query, and now generate follow-up questions. So based on the following research results, generate 5 follow-up questions. Write one question per line. Evaluate that evaluate and join the results of the follow-up questions, and then get another set of web search, do another set of combination, and then finally have it summarize the result and send it to Discord. So in under 80 lines of code and not running anything, any server or any Lambda or any function, we created a research AI agent that would do 100 searches in parallel given a topic, ask follow-up questions, summarize everything, and send it to Discord. And this is essentially like being able to define these kind of workflows, I think, is going to be very, very important. Um, so at this point, I will basically start. I would love to hear questions about this. And please, just note before asking questions, I will be showing the main example, which is the email assistant right after this. And I'm happy to explain a little bit more about Julep for just like a few more seconds. But for any big questions, please keep them for the end. But yeah, please, um, please let me know if you have any questions.
I think no questions, so we might.
No questions? Awesome.
I
All
will.
right. So,
I'll write some question myself soon, so you can answer them.
okay. Neva, could you let me know? Okay, I will just answer because I don't want this. Okay, so there's one question. What are some other projects that you've done with Julep? So Julep is actually being used by multiple companies. So there are companies that have built personalized therapy agents with Julep. There are companies that are doing web browser automation with Julep. So essentially being able to run their user's browser based on some requests and commands. Um, and let's see, there is another very interesting company that does vision based requests. So basically, send a series of video snapshots and then ask questions about it and then collect those results and so on. So those are some of the commercial projects and companies that we've worked with. In addition to that, in this repository itself, there is a cookbook section, and you are more than welcome to take a look at all of the different cookbooks that we have. um, and there are lots and lots of ideas to build as well.
Devant, can you walk me through three questions? Um, so one is about how do you any docs to use in YAML, and then how do you install it?
Yeah. So YAML is actually thank you for that question. YAML is actually a very very simple format, which is actually the same as it's not a programming language. It is actually a data like data serialization object. So what I mean by that is you can actually convert a YAML to JSON and vice versa. So this is so basically what I'm trying to say is there is really like YAML is essentially a pretty version of JSON. So this is JSON on the right, and this is YAML on the left. And specifically how to use Julep's definition. So you can act like this is a plain JSON JavaScript object. This is nothing fancy. It's just a lot nicer to read in YAML, and that's really all about it. The rest of it, this is actually just a string that contains like special variables. This is a template where you can mix um, and match different like variables, etc., etc. This is a special Python expression that is actually executed on the server, and so on and so forth. Yeah, I hope that answers the question.
Do you support streaming?
We do support streaming, although at this moment, I don't think we support streaming for um, sessions, which is a different feature, but for tasks, we do support streaming. Yes. All right. Any other questions? Okay, let's keep going. Yeah. Yeah. Naveen.
No, sorry, I just wanted to ask the question. So somebody
Yeah.
asked, so Julep is just a smarter version of LangChain that can manage complex workflows.
It in a way is, yes. So in fact, there is a whole section dedicated to um, why Julep versus LangChain. So the most I think important kind of difference is that Julep is a platform which includes a language for describing workflows. So the YAML thing that you saw, a server that runs them, and an SDK for interacting with the platform. So Julep is kind of like a backend, and you use Julep by making calls either using a client or using an API. Julep is running in the background. Whereas LangChain is a library, which means that you include it in your code. So, for example, if you want to create something with 100 steps, your code should be able to run those 100 steps or 1,000 steps um, and handle any failures and retrying and all of those things. Um, so, depending on what you're trying to build, LangChain could be a simple and sufficient tool, and it is uh, um, yeah, it is something that you can include in your application code. But if you want to build something more powerful, Julep would be a much better tool. Yep.
I have a quick question
Um,
about conditions.
yeah.
Do you have this in the YAML? Because it looks like it's like a step by step. Do you have also conditions if you want to do?
We also have conditions, and actually there is actually different kinds of workflow steps. So there's a prompt step, which you already saw, tool call, which is manually calling a tool. You can also have the model like call the tool, but the one example that I showed earlier is manually calling a tool. Um, there is conditional logic, so if then else. There are loops like for each and map, which you already saw. And in fact, there are actually lots and lots of different kinds of steps that you can combine to build all kinds of cool things.
Cool. I think that's it. Let's move to building the email agent.
Yeah, let's do it. Okay, so please, of course, as I said earlier, please feel free to go through the README. There are two SDKs available. There is a JavaScript SDK and there is a Python SDK. And yeah, and let us know if you have any questions on Discord. Okay, so moving ahead. I've prepared short example for building an email assistant. So, okay, so I'm really excited about this because I think that a version of this we are actually going to be using in the near future ourselves, like the Julep as a company. But if and so let me start by saying, um like we mentioned earlier, Julep is available both as a Python SDK as well as a JavaScript SDK. And their APIs, or the client functions, they're exactly the same for both of those libraries. Um, so for example, if you have client.agents.create underscore or underscore update in Python, you would have an equivalent create or update function in the Node client and the JavaScript client, and so on and so forth. Okay, so coming back to this, so I'm gonna again, like before, I'm gonna stop and field for questions in a bit. But until then, please follow along. So yeah, let's get started. So this is how you would actually uh, start. So you would install Julep. So something like pip install Julep for Python, and then you would essentially have to create a client. So let's first create a client. You can get your Julep API key from Discord, or I believe our dashboard is also ready. So yeah, you can get an API key, uh, set that API key. You can set it directly, or in my case, I've set it as an environment variable, but you can also just set it directly here. Let's then create a Julep client. So Julep API key. Right now, a lot of the features that you see are part of our development server. A lot of the newer features that I'm going to be using in this demo. So you'd set the environment equal to dev. Okay, so let's first create our agent. So here I'm saying like julep.agents.create email assistant. You are an agent that handles emails for Julep users. Julep is a platform for creating kick-ass AI agents. Model equals GPT-4o, and default settings, temperature zero point 0.2. I'm setting a low temperature in case you're not aware of this. Temperature controls how creative or risk taking the model is in its responses. Lower temperature, like zero point 0.2, means that it will try to be professional and more straightforward. Okay, so I've already run this code and we have an agent ID. Um, and in this, so actually, let me quickly talk about what we're going to do briefly. So in this example, what we're going to do is we're actually going to wait for emails, listen for emails. So whenever someone sends an email, we will intercept that email and start an execution. So this task will get called when we receive an email to certain email addresses. And as a result of that, we're going to get from, to, subject, and body, um, which are the email contents, as input. And then we're going to do some processing of that, run a couple of prompts, search our documentation, and so on and so forth. And then finally, we will use Mailgun, which is another different service, to send a response back to that email. Okay. Okay. So in this case, again, let me quickly walk you through it. Input schema is optional, but it adds both some safety and some uh, documentation here, so that we know that okay, from will be we have here like four input keys that we are expecting. Then second, let's create some tools. So one tool is send email. So here the provider is email. This is a built-in integration. I'm using smtp.mailgun.org. Um, and from Mailgun, once you sign up, you can easily get a password and an email address that you can use to send emails. So in our case, we've already set this up. Then we have a system tool. So this is a new one that you guys have not seen in the previous example. A system tool basically lets you call Julep APIs themselves. So inside Julep, there's actually a whole bunch of different um, tools and a whole bunch of different features. So for example, we have a RAG system built in. So you can actually add documents and search them without having to set anything up. And you can actually chat with agents directly inside sessions, and so on and so forth. But here we're going to be using the docs feature, and we're saying that all right, for I want to search the documents for this particular agent, um, and this is a tool that I'm defining that when I want, like I can use it and I can call it and I will search the agent documents. Okay, so quick recap. In this example, we first get, whenever we get an email, this execution is started. This task is started. And then once we have that email, we want to search our documentation. So we're essentially trying to answer user queries from emails. So we get an email, let's say it is, hey, how can I use Julep? And body could be my use cases that I want to build, content creator, a bot, what are steps that I can use to design that and build that in Julep. And what this task will do is when it's run, we search our documentation, we collect answers, and then based on that, we send a reply back to that user. Okay, so
People want to know because they really don't understand where do they get the Julep API key. I guess you can clone the repo and install it and get like a local API, but how can you do it?
no, we have a dashboard, as well as we will be issuing API keys on our Discord channel. I think Ishtar and I will share details of that like right at the end of this call.
Is it only, but can you also just use the repository if you want, like clone the repository? It's not.
Yes, you can. Yes, you can clone the repository if you want. Um, in fact, the there are details on how to do this inside contributing.md. So if you would like, you can go through that, and essentially you can clone the repository, create a env file in the root directory, and then run Docker Compose up.
If people want to save time and they want to use the dashboard one, does it cost money or is it free?
It is free for the DevFest events.
Okay, perfect.
There are caps on every API key, but they're very, very generous. And if you end up hitting any limits, please let us know on Discord.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah, you can, if you want to run Julep yourself, you can look at contributing.md. It has all of the instructions needed to do that. And if if you have any questions with that, again, please feel free to reach out.
The chat. Is there a way for me to do that?
Can you repeat it, Ishta? Because I just put back live here.
Okay.
Can you repeat it?
I have a link that I want to share in the comments.
Okay.
Um, how can I do that?
Just in the, just send me the link.
Okay, cool.
It's
Yeah.
the one that you shared, right?
Yes.
Okay. It's this one. Also, except for the Julep key, they will also need to put an OpenAI key, or is it
No,
Julep?
all of the models are included for this for DevFest again. So you have access to GPT-4o, Claude 3.5 Sonnet, um, all of the different models.
Oh, okay, cool. So people don't need to add their own key. You're using
People do
your.
not need to. There is a way, if you do want to use your own OpenAI key, it is completely possible and easy to do that. You can, in your request, pass the API key, and we will use that API key instead of ours.
Okay, cool, nice.
Any other questions?
The Julep dashboard. And with that, you don't have to use your own API key. We've used our API, OpenAI API keys. So you'd be able to build using Julep without having to use your OpenAI API key. Just wanted to share that. Yeah, let's continue the bank.
All right, awesome. All right, so
Somebody
coming
asked
back
here.
to
I
this.
guess this is something that is not possible, but somebody asked it here. As agent becomes more autonomous, does Julep have a plan to incorporate self-optimizing workflow where agent can be independently refine their processes based on real feedback without manual intervene?
So that is an amazing question, and the answer actually is yes. Not only do we have a plan, you can do this today, which means, so what I'm trying to say with that is, so you have, like I mentioned at the beginning of this example, you have four different kinds of tools. So you have API calls, which we'll call an external API. You have integrations like search, email. Um, I think we have Slack, weather API, a bunch of those things. And then you have system. And system is very, very interesting because using system, you can call other Julep APIs uh, from within the task. So here, for example, we're using the document search API. So once you define this tool, whatever arguments you give this tool when you run it, it will go and basically run document search for whichever agent you provide. It could be this agent, it could be another agent, but just like you have access to, in this case, document search, you actually have access to all of the other ones, which means that you can create more tasks. So you can have an agent that creates other tasks. You can have an agent that creates other agents, and you can have agents that update and improve themselves. So you can actually do that today. We haven't actually, this is all very new, so we haven't actually had a chance to completely explore this right now. But I'm really excited. I hope that you guys can actually help us explore that. But you basically have agents.update built into tasks. And you have tasks.create and agents.create. So you can have an agent that creates sub agents. You can have an agent that updates itself. You can have an agent that creates other tasks and starts them. It's really like kind of, you know, the world is your canvas sort of thing with it. So I'm really glad you asked, because this is actually possible, and it's possible today. This is not a future feature.
Somebody asks if somebody make like a significant contribution if you hire contributors.
We 100% do. We 100% do. We're actively looking for internship positions and full-time developer positions. That said, I would like to add that if you make a significant contribution and you're interested in reaching out, please do email us. We will be happy to interview you, and we would be happy to consider you. Significant contributions, of course, definitely add um, so much more, you know, about you, and about your dedication, and about your ability to add, like, contribute back and quickly ramp up on this. So 100%.
What would you prefer, a significant contribution, a demo, or a real like in code for the actual agent contribution, for the actual
Either is
system?
fine. We I would personally love demos, and there are, in fact, if you go to cookbooks, there are a ton of ideas on what you can implement, and there's, I think, yeah, 50 or, yeah, roughly 50 ideas that you can implement. You can also implement, you can take a look at the cookbooks. So the documentation in these cookbooks are rapidly evolving, and because the API is changing, some of them may or may not immediately work. So that caveat aside, uh, you can, like, please make lots of demos. Please make something cool. That's the best thing you can do. There are decent number of integrations, and there are, of course, you can call an API directly anyway. So yes.
Cool. So you can basically contribute to Julep, win DevFest because of this, then win Julep swag, plus get hired for Julep. I think it's
Yes.
pretty much
Yes.
good motivation to contribute and create demos for Julep.
Please do, please do. And we're here to help. Like, if you're getting stuck, please ask. We're all here to help. We want to, you know, see cool things built. And this is a lot of this is new, like literally 1 hour ago. And just for, you know, to give you a sense, anything that is merged on dev branch is actually automatically deployed on dev.julep.ai. So if your contribution actually changes the API or adds a feature, if once merged, it will actually become live for everyone else. Um, but yeah, that also means that this is all fairly new. But yeah, please do contribute.
Very cool.
Cool. Um, okay, let me get back to this, because I want to definitely finish walking through this example and showing you how it works, and then I'd be happy to take on more questions. Okay, to recap, we're going to get an email from a user. Let's say it's a question about how to use the uh, Brave search integration in Julep. And then the body could be describing a use case that, hey, I want to build a research agent, etc., etc. Um, and when we get this email, this task is triggered. Pardon me. This task is triggered, and an execution is created. I will get back to how we're doing this. So this is actually started using the Julep APIs, and we have a handler that actually handles the email and turns this into the API calls. But uh, this is the expected input. So this task will run and it will basically um, start with the email contents, which is from where this email is coming from, subject body to. Right. Now we're going to add some tools. So send email using Mailgun, and then search docs, which is a tool that refers to the document search feature inside Julep. Okay, so we start with the prompt. You are agent.name. By the way, for those who have seen this before, this is a little kind of complicated. Like, this is a little uh, tricky because I'm using in Python something called for f strings. So if you're used to JavaScript, in JavaScript you have these uh, kind of interpolations. So you can mix variables inside strings. In Python, you have single break, like single curly braces. And if you start a string with f, you can have that. The unfortunate side effect of this is that I have to, if I actually want to type in um, a curly brace inside my example, I will have to do this. So this actually turns into a single brace. But let me go through the example and then I can talk about the detailed stuff. So, okay, so you are agent.name and then add agent.about. A user with email address from has sent the following inquiry, the subject and the body. Can you generate a query to search the documentation based on this email? Just respond with the query as is and nothing else. Okay, so when we start this execution, first it will enter main and run the first step. As a result of this, we will now have a query. That query we can actually directly take and manually call the search documents tool. So we say, okay, tool search docs, arguments, agent ID. We want to search this agent's documents. And text is the query itself, the query to search for. Again, as I'd mentioned earlier, but underscore is a special variable which you can use, which refers to the output of the previous one. And as a result of this, so now this tool will be called with the query that the model generated. And it will basically fetch any documents that are related to those queries. Now we run another prompt. Again, your agent.name, agent.about. This is kind of a standard way in Julep to inside tasks, at least. Like you have full control on the prompt. So if you don't want any like agent.name or whatever system thing generated, you can actually define it, customize it completely up to you. So we again share the email. And now here are some possibly relevant snippets. So from the previous step, we got documents. Every document has snippets. And so we say for document in docs, and then for every snippet inside the doc, we just add that back in. So you can imagine that this prompt, once it is actually run, will have the original email and will have the documents that we found. Now, based on the above info, craft an email body to respond with as a JSON object. The JSON object must have subject and body fields. And we're asking OpenAI to respond with a JSON object. And then finally, we evaluate it. So because it's JSON, we got to actually parse it. So there's a function called load JSON. And I promise I'll explain all of this in a second. But once we run this, we're going to get a JSON object. And from that JSON object, we can uh, parse subject and body. So finally, again to recap, we got an email with a question, we generated a query, searched the docs, um, generated a final response, uh, evaluated it, and now we can use the send email tool that we defined earlier, and we say, okay, the body is what we got. Um, from here is something that my Mailgun, our Mailgun account has, but yours would be different. And then subject, um, again, something that OpenAI generated. And then two is we want to send the email to back to the person who originally sent the email to us. So from. And now I can go ahead and create this task. Um, I'm not sure why this is failing. Why is this failing? Then create a new agent. Okay. Okay, so I created a new agent and then created tasks. So the task is now like created on Julep, and you can see the tasks ID. And yeah, now just to test it, I'm gonna run it manually. So here I'm saying that the email is from the bank at julep.ai, and I start this. Ishta, can you ask the team to check like what's going on? Something is wrong with the server. Okay, I'm going to look into this in a second, but you can start the execution, and then I had actually done this right before, and once the execution is going to run, and you can actually listen to each step of the process, which is this stream endpoint that someone was asking about earlier. And if the task succeeds, the execution will enter a succeeded status, and you will get the final output. In this case, it was um, subject re what's up, hello, thank you for reaching out, how can I assist you today, blah blah blah. And yeah, that's it. And this email will actually be uh, because we're using Mailgun, this email will actually be sent um, to your email. And let me confirm that we got this email. And yep. Right. Uh, okay. So first, let me ask, open the floor for questions. and then I'll show you how you can actually get the actual emails to trigger this task. But yeah, first questions.
I'm not sure we have too much time, um,
Yep.
but maybe in the meanwhile you can show them the Julep dashboard also.
Yes. So there is dashboarddev.julep.ai. You can sign in with Google. So I'm gonna do this, and then you can get your API key. And that's it. It's as simple. We have it's very new and bare bones, um, but yeah.
I have seen many people building agents. Why did you decide to take control of ChatGPT by yourself and not to just let people add their own key for any other of the agents? Just interesting.
So you can actually add your own API keys. There's actually no problem, no um, uh, requirement to use our API key whatsoever. So when you are creating a task or creating a session, um, should we- yeah, when you're creating a task, you can actually add a header. So there is I don't remember the exact syntax, but you can actually add X custom API key, and we will use that instead of ours. Um, our API key is there only for testing and convenience sake. When using in production, we will expect people to use their own API key. But as is, you have access to GPT-4o and Claude, and let me see which. Uh, so you can actually see which models are configured. So I think most of these models should be available, and you can directly, um, yeah, you can directly use them
All right.
without having to do anything. And yeah, so please build stuff. I know, I mean, if things are very rough around the edges, so there will be problems, but please try to build cool stuff. Ping me on Discord if you have any questions. Create issues on GitHub. We are online and we're here to help you. And I'm really excited to see what you guys can do with this.
Very, very nice. Should we wait for the demo to work, or this is something that you think we should skip?
I want to check with the team. Give me 1 second. I mean, I'll just try to run this task directly once more. No, something's wrong with the server. Yeah, I'm gonna. By the way, I'm gonna add this notebook to GitHub once I get it to work, and you will be able to use it.
Very cool. All right, I'm going to do the giveaway now for all the people that participated, and if this works by then, by the end, then we can
Yeah.
show it to everybody. All right. So today giveaway was a lot of people, so this is cool. Let me open it in a second. Okay, we have 121 responses. So just open it. Let me copy here all the GitHub handle. By the way, if anybody added some user twice, then if they win here, which I see already, somebody added the username like 10 times, this is automatic disqualification. So let me, I just want to mark all the ones. So there is one. Let me just delete this. Okay. So if you edit it twice by mistake, no problem. But I see somebody that edited their name like 20 times. So just for you to know, like if you win, then automatically disqualify you. So it doesn't matter. All right. So let's spin the wheel. Let me share my screen. Okay, Anik 2812. Let me just see that you don't have any duplicate. Okay, only one. Anik, are you here with us? Anik 2812. Need to wait for the delay gap. Okay, cool. So, Nick, you get the swag. I'll just color your name here so I remember. Okay. Nice. Next person. Kinshuk 2003. Are you here with us? Kinshuk 2003. Not 4, 2003. Think you should update your GitHub handle to 2004. 2024. No, it's a different swag. Kinshuk, are you here with us? All right, I'm going to spin again. Okay, this one is disqualified because he edited himself like 100 times, so remove. Next. Okay. I use Dev 2006. Are you here with us? I use Dev 2006. Piyush, sorry. Sorry, I'm not good with foreign names. Are you sure it's you? Because it says I'm Naveen and don't think it's the same. Let me check this link. Yeah, it's him. It's actually him, Naveen Singh. So great, thank you so much. Let me mark you as a winner also. All right, so just an explanation. Do it at the end of every competition. By the end of the competition, you will have a special form that you can fill with all your details to get swag. I know who you are because you added your GitHub handle, and basically you are also registered with GitHub, so it's connected to your handle, so you will automatically see this when you finish. Just for you to know, it's a different swag than the winner swag, because it will be a little bit ridiculous if you get two of the swags twice. So just wait for the end of the competition to get this. Yeah, that's it from me. Diwang, Ishtai, do you have something to say before we wrap it
Yeah.
up?
Thank you guys for taking a look at Julep. I hope you guys can try it. And I'm adding this example, which, by the way, I just kind of got it to work. And I've added this to our repository. So if you look inside cookbooks, and there's the very first notebook is the DevFest email assistant, and you can actually run it yourself and see. Yep.
Okay, awesome. Thank you all so
Awesome.
much
Thank
for
you,
coming.
everyone.
Thank you so much. See you with another Julep event